It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Yeah. Y'all must have forgot I'm on my Roy Jones. Flow terminally ill, talking full blown. The Ghost Rider, I wrote the script to your tombstone. Kill your favorite rappers in tandems, call it a group home. I've been keeping it discreet, but this shit ain't sweet. Once I hit my motor, start to reach. Niggas shit they breach. I got songs in like 200 shows. What I gotta leave? Pull a nigga name up on the sheet and it's bon appetit. Fucking with the wrong one, I hope you got a strong gun. They verse I'm going on them, they call me the Shogun. Pull a beat, 15 minutes, bet I get this song done. I can't trust a rap nigga that's stepping with his toes done. Fuck them out. Shout the Lord done it all. I'm Barry Sanders. I'm juking niggas from the coin toss. I'ma run the ball. That's 6 points. I get the money off the ripple when my pinpoints. Pinpoint precision. Envision me on my rich boy. D's on the bit. Trigger finger if it's itchy. I might squeeze on the flip. Bullets coming with a name. Let you bleed on the tip. Put a nigga in the box. Then I'm fleeing on the trip. I'm too king for me to slip. I want Parmesan. I Parmesan. I walk in the alarm's on. I'm barking like a dog. And now your bones are what I'm chomping on. Sun down, bitch. I'm back to bending like it's Ramadan. Yo, 15 minutes was broad, it's like a calling card. No mean to ramble, this shit is like a free sample. I'm here to make an example, these appetizers ain't ample enough. Fire like a candle, I'm up. Right from the panel, I jump back in this shit, entertaining y'all on my channel. I'm the main event. Learn to use my voice so I could pay the rent. Nigga talking shit behind the phone that they ain't pay to get. Drop and give me 50, nigga. I get on my trainer shit. I don't do no freestyles. Tell me I get paid to spit.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there as this new week comes to a start. In this video, we're going to be getting into Drake and Steak once again, but this time we're not looking into legal paperwork and reading through the same old documents that we've been reading through. Today, we're going to get into an investigation that has been launched by financial website Bloomberg, and they have some interesting findings about Drake and Steak concerning his lucky streak taking part on the social casino, right? Now, we've already had a lot of questions that are being posed legally out here about the nature of the money that, Drake is using on Steak. It's already been revealed by both Drake and by investigation that they're feeding him the money to play online with when he goes on these streams and stuff like that. Also, those screenshots that you see him posting for major events, whether it be NBA playoffs, whether it be Netflix boxing matches, MMA fights, Super Bowl, any of those major events throughout the year, you always see an update about Drake going on Steak, betting copious amounts of money. And some days he loses millions, others he wins multiple millions. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people always look at it like, damn, is he really gambling like that? So we've already noticed that Steak is feeding him, house money to play with. But now Bloomberg is actually investigating the nature of some of his wins as it pertains to the games in the casino, right? Because he'll post his winnings on certain days and it's like, damn, he was hitting it like that. So now they're wondering if the games are actually rigged in his favor for promotional purposes. Okay? So that we will be reading through. If you're not here for the long haul, that's on you. That's your choice. But I've already started, so we're going to get into the weeds of this investigation. All right? Let's check it out. So here on Bloomberg, they say how to win slots and influence people. Crypto casino Steak pays Drake and other stars to bet with clips of big wins spreading to impressionable gamblers. The numbers show surprising luck at work. All right. This article was put up on February 27th, just a couple days ago. Drake just needed some juice. In 82 minutes of online slots play, the Canadian rapper's starting balance of $3.5 million worth of Bitcoin had dwindled to $422,355. Okay. So he had lost over $2 million online. The move was grim as he clicked the spin button with tens of thousands of live stream viewers watching. Drake knew, though, that one of them could turn his luck around. So here he says, Eddie, join the call, brother, he said. Drake had been invoking Eddie's name throughout the stream. Eddie needs to fill up that balance a little more. Eddie says play roulette. Eddie needs to make this shit shake. It sounded like Drake was appealing to some omnipotent deity. In seconds, a new window popped up near the ones for Drake and the 3 internet celebrities who'd been hanging out with him online that day in August. Inside was a man with staticky brown hair, a plain black t-shirt, and AirPods, Ed Craven, the billionaire co-founder of Stake, the online cryptocurrency casino where Drake was gambling, and of Kick, the site live streaming his play. From his house in Melbourne, Craven told everyone he'd been watching the whole time. Now he was appearing to deliver a public pep talk to his assembled A-team, all 4 of them signed to multi-million-dollar contracts to advertise Stake. The energy here is not good, Craven said. Drake's choice of casino games, he added, had been terrible. Drake had now navigated to speed roulette on Craven's earlier advice. It wasn't long before his luck shifted. A few spins in, he placed chips on 12 and spun the wheel. The ball settled in on 12 and he won $800,000. Craven added $500,000 more to Drake's balance, telling the rapper to lock in and get those wins. Then he had some advice for Kick's most watched American influencer, Aiden Ross, a sparky bad boy, who'd gotten popular streaming the video game series NBA 2K. Get those clips viral, have a few of them with the Stake logo really clear and really fucking big. Now, what's interesting is, I don't know how many people have been on Twitter. I know some of y'all don't really be on there. But new policies have been enacted on Twitter where anything that is a sponsored post, if you're paid to post on behalf of a brand or anything like that, they're making it to where you have to disclose that it's a paid promotion. And a lot of the hip hop pages are being exposed. A lot of these people are now having to put out their hashtag Kaushi partner and all this different type of stuff, which is basically another version of Stake. So it's very interesting to see. Anyway, Drake decided to test his newfound fortune on Puffer Stacks, a marine-themed slot game operated by Stake's parent company, Easy Go Entertainment. He leaned into his computer as colorful shells slid into place on a grid. He won another $800,000, and the word insane popped up on his screen. Over the next hour, he won big twice more on Puffer Stacks and once on a slot game called Rooster Returns, also operated by Easy Go. He got his balance back up to $2.2 million. Then he kept on spinning, eventually logging off with just $730,000. So here they go into his lucky streaks where he's winning big. Drake's luck shifts after speaking with Stake co-founder Ed Craven. Okay, they even made a graph on this motherfucker. Right? Drake's balance. Drake loses money for about 90 minutes. So he was just fucked up, pouring money into the game, building drama. Craven joins the call, deposits $500K to Drake and leaves the call. Next thing you know, after he takes Eddie's advice on which game to play, he has 4 big wins playing stake slots, They say Drake's hot streak had been hot, though. He'd won big 1,000 times or more his base bet, a common goal in the crypto gambling community, 4 times in just 1 hour playing Easy Go owned slots. That kind of luck is far outside the norm, according to a Bloomberg Businessweek analysis of 500 hours of live slots gameplay by 25 stake gamblers. So when it comes down to regular people, the odds are more heavily stacked against them. And that session wasn't a one-off for Drake. When he played Easy Go slots, he won he won big 4 times as frequently as the average rate, the equivalent of once every 2,500 spins compared with every 10,000 spins according to Business Week's investigation. Yet on games operated by third parties, his win rate was average. And Drake wasn't the only influencer getting very, very lucky while broadcasting Easy Go games on Kick. So, in simplest terms, the games that are owned by stake, he wins big. And then when he plays third-party games that are owned by other companies, his wins dwindle. Drake and Aiden Ross more likely to win on stake slots. Okay, here we get Aiden Ross all over again. We know both of them are under investigation and being sued by multiple class action lawsuits all throughout the U.S. Drake and Aiden Ross, big win rates on slots owned by Stake's parent company versus third parties from June to August 2025. 10K spins, 100K spins. So it just shows you he won 4 big times. Drake also won 3 or whatever the fuck. Also, you got Trainwrecks TV and Rothstein. Stake is the most popular crypto casino in the world, offering convenient access to slots, roulette, sports betting, poker with live dealers, and more. It's almost entirely unregulated, based in Australia, and registered in the Dutch Caribbean island of Curaçao. Stake's main site and affiliated domains get at least 127 million visits every month, according to analytics provider SimilarWeb. The casino estimates it takes 10 billion monthly bets and accounts for about 4% of all Bitcoin transactions annually. This success has been accelerated by influencers on Kick, which since its debut in December 2022 has helped boost Stake's traffic more than 5-fold. In 2024, Stake still said it made $4.7 billion after paying out winnings, 80% more than in 2022. So they've been seeing exponential growth in just a few short years. In December, Craven posted a screenshot of a third-party analytics site that put Stake's yearly deposit volume at $18 billion. Stake's crypto casino has thrived despite being blocked in some huge potential markets, including the US, the UK, and France. It's banned too in Australia, where Craven lives, and EasyGo has 2 offices. It also has offices in Brazil, Colombia, Peru, and Serbia. In jurisdictions where the site is illegal, people can use virtual private networks or VPNs to get around location blocking, something even EasyGo's own Australian workers do, according to former employees who requested anonymity because they signed NDA agreements with the company. Stake also operates a site with a sweepstakes model in the US, which we know a lot about because they're the ones who are being sued, offering users the chance to play for virtual gold coins and so-called Stake Cash, the latter of which can be converted to crypto. Stake said in an email that it verifies every user's identity and employs blockchain analysis to identify suspicious activity. The company said that it doesn't seek out customers in restricted jurisdictions and that it actively prevents access through geo-blocking technology and suspends or removes the accounts of players caught using VPNs. Compliance risk is an evolving challenge for large platforms worldwide, not just Stake, the company said. Gamblers are drawn to crypto casinos over regular online betting sites for their lower fees, better bonuses, and minimal, sometimes non-existent, know your customer procedures. Stake allows much bigger bets than regular online casinos too, letting some players wager as much as 100 Bitcoin valued at $7 million at once. The process is relatively low friction for anyone accustomed to crypto. Create an account, load a digital wallet with one of the 21 virtual currencies the site accepts, pick your game, place your bets, and then cash out your winnings, if any, via the blockchain. Records seen by Business Week show that some users gamble hundreds of millions in crypto on Stake every year. Drake and other VIPs do so with the encouragement and intervention of Craven himself. Text messages and chat logs viewed by Business Week show that he can be in constant communication with high betting clients. Those clients have included kick streamers with stake marketing deals who got crypto wallet refills and other white glove services such as higher betting limits. Those deals can be extremely lucrative, even as the money they accept is often used for gambling. One influencer, Tyler Nicknam, aka Trainwrecks TV, told fans he'd accepted $360 million in the 16 months leading up to October 2022. By 2024, he'd wagered $18 billion in crypto, according to a screenshot someone posted on X after he displayed his account information during a live stream. Nicknam didn't respond to requests for comment. So you see, they're doing some heavy duty promotion to keep people engaged on this thing, showing people how much they can win by saying, look, this is how much I've been earning, how much I've been winning on here, not disclosing that the games are rigged in their favor to stimulate those wins, to influence others to want to take part in it. Now, of course, everybody's got to be responsible for their choice to gamble their own money. That's a given, that's known. We understand that. However, these people are being paid big money to mislead people on the odds of actually winning that money. The jackpots kick influencers win playing slots are also astronomical. In July, Nicknam won a record-breaking $37.5 million worth of crypto on a $6,000 bet while playing an easy-go-operated game, of course. A week later, another kick streamer, Ishmael Swartz, a.k.a. Rothstein, beat that with a $45.4 million win, on a $10,000 bet, also on an easy-go game. You see the trend? Stake pays 1,000-strong army of Clippers to scatter videos of its stars celebrating such wins. That was the Clippers. And y'all know George Nugent, or however you say his name, a.k.a. Asian Chat nigga. He's affiliated with the Clipper Company, right? To scatter videos of his stars celebrating such wins, drawing in anyone intrigued by potential jackpots or the swagger of internet celebrities with $300,000 luxury cars. Almost like the ones that Drake bought for Ben the Don and Aiden Ross on stream. Interesting. The Clippers themselves received $500 per million views on their videos until December, when Stake raised the bounty to $800, according to someone with knowledge of the arrangement. So if you can get 1 million views on your clips of these streams, they'll pay you $800 for the post. Like others interviewed about contract detail and other sensitive matters for this story, this person requested anonymity to discuss private arrangements. Sponsored streamers tend to post stake sign-up links and promo codes on their Kick pages. Rarely do they disclose that they're being paid to advertise the site or that their balances aren't always drawn from their personal money. The streamers' seemingly infinite balances, splashy jackpots, and social media virality have led some viewers to question the legitimacy of their wins, as they should. Craven has repeatedly denied that stakes influencers get more generous odds. Okay. So it's one thing to be running this play in front of people and not saying anything about it, letting people just be curious, question, and be left to their own devices on how they feel about it. But when you come out and deny that this is happening, when it's being exposed that this is what's happening, he's repeatedly denied that stakes influencers get more generous odds, stating in one blog post that despite certain widespread notions of odds being rigged in some people's favors or money not being real, we have no direct control of the odds of any of our games. But what about Drake? To fact check Craven, Businessweek designed a way to calculate spins and determine how frequently big wins again 1,000 times or more the base bet took place. The overall analysis spanned 1,500 hours of live footage on Kick, from the 25 players, who included 5 superstar influencers: Drake, Ross, Nicknam, Swartz, and Felix Lingyo, aka XQC. Fuck him. Reporters used Anthropic's Claude, a large language model, to analyze footage frame by frame and determine the balance, bet, and games being played during live streams. Business Week then manually verified more than 600 big wins identified by the software and calculated the rate given the total number of each player's spins. Drake enjoyed unique luck playing easy go games. He won big twice as frequently as the next luckiest gambler, Business Week analyzed. 4 people who played a comparable number of rounds to his never won big at all. As for comment on Business Week's findings, Stake called them categorically incorrect, saying that big wins are an arbitrary metric and that comparing win rates across different games ignores how game mathematics work. Stake declined to share its data on player win rates or game payouts and didn't respond to detailed questions about influencers, odds, or use of house money. The company also disputed Business Week's approach to bonus rounds, extra rounds players either pay for or win, stating that they have different game mechanics and win rates. These rounds are sometimes sold on Stake as equivalent to a certain number of regular spins. A bonus round equal to 100 spins, for example, costs $1,000 in crypto, given a $10 base bet. So Business Week's methodology takes this at face value. When Business Week ran the numbers for easy go slot bonus rounds in isolation, Drake and Ross continued to have the highest win rates. Stake's win-centered social media strategy has attracted adults and minors alike, sometimes in jurisdictions where the site isn't legal, according to 4 users who gambled there as teenagers. And legal complaints reviewed by Business Week. Several say they ultimately spent uncomfortable sums of money on Stake after watching their favorite gamers' gambling streams. Now again, for many adults, it is what it is. But now you got teenagers gambling whatever the fuck they got, whether it's allowance, money that they're getting from jobs. I don't know if they out here swiping or whatever, but they gambling that shit off as well. And of course, these games are programmed to look like fun games that you could just play on your phone. So of course, it's going to appeal to a younger audience anyway. Class action lawsuits naming Stake, Drake, and Ross have alleged that their live streams can make huge, statistically improbable wins seem normal, and that this can contribute to a misleading portrayal of the risk and reward of online gambling. One such suit filed in Missouri in October claims that by prominently advertising these exceedingly rare outcomes, Stake exploits players' cognitive biases and violates state rules prohibiting deceptive trade practices. There's no international enforcer to ensure Stake odds are fair. The site's business license is registered to a small office in a strip mall across from a cemetery in Curacao, which had never fined a casino operator or revoked a license from one until last year. People with complaints about Stake, whether they're alleging unfair business practices, targeting of underage or addicted players, or something else, have little recourse on the island. That's left officials in other countries to mount their own responses. Regulators in jurisdictions including the UK, France, and Ukraine have ordered internet service providers to block access to Stake's website. While in the US, attorneys have filed at least 10 class action lawsuits on behalf of players against Stake, in addition to the one in Missouri calling the sweepstakes operation an illegal casino. One suit filed in California in August, which also names Ross and Drake, accuses the defendants of having perpetrated one of the largest and most profitable illegal gambling enterprises in California's history. Stake didn't respond to questions about allegations in the lawsuits, but it has said it rejects allegations related to the California one and has argued that the claims in other class action cases are meritless. Representatives for Drake didn't respond to requests for comment. A representative for Ross, who since shifted his crypto gambling to a competing site, RainBet, told Businessweek in an email that we are confident that when the court applies the relevant law to the facts of the cases, Mr. Ross will be dismissed from these lawsuits. The decade-long advertising campaign the lawsuits invoke has made Stake a hugely lucrative and controversial operation. The fantasy of the very lucky influencers at the campaign's heart is an impossible one, or infinite money and improbable wins with no apparent repercussions. In the real world, of course, there are always consequences. So with that being stated, they then get into the history before Stake with Eddie Craven. And Eddie Craven has been taking part in online gambling, social casinos, and things of that nature since he was a teenager in Australia, right? So he don't give a fuck about none of this because he feels like, hey, I've been doing this shit since I was a kid. So why shouldn't everybody else have the opportunity to do it, right? So they're going to get into this. Before there was Stake, there was the dueling arena in Run Escape. Craven, a teenager known in the online role-playing game as Edward 5010, was raking in virtual gold betting on the outcomes on his fights in a sandy pit. It was called staking. And for him and his clan, the Australian army, it could mean real money back then in the early 2010s. Run Escape coins were redeemable for US dollars, albeit in violation of the game's terms of service on third-party sites using PayPal. So he ain't no stranger to online gambling with shady practices. At some point, stakers found a more reliable hustle, helping other players bet by setting up wagers on the roll of a 100-sided die. 55 or higher, and the house won. There was more demand than supply for these games, especially among minors who couldn't easily gamble elsewhere. Soon, though, PayPal began flagging stakers' accounts for suspicious activity that led many to transact in Bitcoin, which had no such restrictions. And we see Drake does a ton of Bitcoin transactions for this very same reason. Among the stakers who jumped into crypto was a quiet Connecticut teen named Bijan Tirani. Okay? He and a childhood friend, Christopher Freeman, then decided to expand beyond Run Escape and start a competitor to Satoshi Dice, a Bitcoin gambling game that had become a phenomenon in crypto circles. Craven, a Run Escape staking buddy of Tirani's, came on board too, offering to do light coding and invest some of his earnings. He took a 40% share. If you take 40% share, that ain't some of your goddamn earnings. That's a sizable investment. Freeman later alleged in legal complaints. The new site, called Prime Dice, opened for businesses in May 2013. So this is the beginning for them. Well, I'm officially addicted to gambling, one poster wrote on the web forum Bitcoin Talk after giving it a try. Doubled my money though. Word of improbably big wins in Bitcoin giveaways spread quickly, driving thousands to the site. Just a weekend, Tirani posted on the forum that Prime Dice was netting a profit. Freeman was excited enough to drop out of college and devote himself to the project. A few months in, Freeman alleged in a later complaint, Craven began inching up his stake in Prime Dice by redistributing some of Freeman's shares to himself. Now, how he do that? And others. At the time, the filing said Freeman's sights were set wider. He'd begun to conceive a full-fledged Bitcoin casino that also offered slots and poker. American regulators have been slow to catch on to gambling and more obviously harmful applications for cryptocurrency, such as purchasing hard drugs or unregistered firearms. But Prime Dice was apparently pushing the envelope. In 2014, according to one of Freeman's complaints, Tirani consulted attorneys in New York about the site, and they advised him to shut it down. Tirani didn't respond to a request for comment. That spooked Freeman. In the ensuing months, he blocked access to Prime Dice from the U.S. The operation lost half its daily revenue in 24 hours, Freeman said in a complaint. With revenue plummeting, Craven and Tirani told Freeman they wanted to pivot and open a regular money online casino based in Australia, according to his complaints. I guess they ditched him. You scary motherfucker in their eye. You scary little bitch ass motherfucker. We gonna cut you out the deal. We'll do it ourselves. Right? Tarani moved there while Freeman stayed back, still focused on developing his crypto casino concept. Instead of starting a regular money casino out of Australia, though, Tarani and Craven came out with Stake. In his lawsuits, Freeman cast himself as cut out and deceived. He sought hundreds of millions of dollars in compensation, alleging fraud and idea misappropriation. Speaking with The Guardian in 2022, a Stake spokesperson called Freeman's claims in the suits internally inconsistent, intentionally misleading, and provably false. One suit was dismissed without prejudice in 2024 because of jurisdictional and other issues. The other was discontinued without prejudice that same year. A lawyer for Freeman declined to comment, so he ain't even been able to get his motherfucking bread, even though he claimed y'all niggas was taking his shares behind his back. Another deceptive practice. Stake.com went live in 2017, offering Bitcoin, betting on blackjack, roulette, dice, and more. Tarani announced it on Bitcoin Talk, calling it the future of gambling. The site had a clean, cerulean, blue layout, headed with an image of a golden temple floating in the sky. A register instantly button sat above the message. Absolutely no details required, Stake touted. Provably fair games and rapid withdrawals of winnings. Okay, so they're getting into this whole Stake origin story. Now, that's a long-ass investigation. They're getting into some whole other shit moving forward. There's a fucking 15-year-old who got involved with them, where he was basically logging in and gambling on Stake, and Eddie took him under the wing and all this different type of shit. I think he was from Sweden or some shit. I ain't getting into all that. This video was mostly about Drake's involvement. But if you want to check out the rest of that article, you could check it out on Bloomberg.com, where they get into all of this stuff, man. But basically what they've discovered is that Drake's winnings on Stake are above average compared to other users that get on. They show that the games that are operated by their parent company, Drake wins exponentially more than the games that are not owned by Stake in their parent company, which also shows that these games are basically rigged in his favor. They've provided evidence of the same happening for Aiden Ross, although Drake is the one who gets the most favorable treatment on Stake, right? So it's very interesting to see how this thing is playing out. Again, they've talked about the multiple lawsuits that are happening in the U.S. around all of this activity. Class action lawsuits with people that have lost multiple millions of dollars on this platform, including on states where gambling isn't even considered legal. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this thing unfolds ultimately, where these lawsuits go, where everybody that's involved with Stake ends up in the next 10 years or so, because it's not going to be a quick fall. It's going to be an eventual drop off. You know what I'm saying? And one day there's going to be a fucking documentary or something that drops on Netflix or one of these platforms that really digs into it, where you can visually see what the fuck is going on versus reading it in this Bloomberg investigation. But yo, that nigga better goddamn clean his slate or his Stake be completely gone. But hey, do you, homie? Get your money the way you see fit. Hopefully you won't have to part ways with it. But y'all know the story of a fool and his money. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'll never politic in the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5-6 bank accounts every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I could do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stacks I built. I had